Inklings, I'm Bianca and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about how I'm going to be keeping track of and planning my reading in 2023. I'll be using both digital and physical methods. For the past few years, I have kept journals where I recorded my reading. In 2020 and 2021, I kept like a bullet journal type of reading journal. And then last year this year, it's still technically this year, in 2022, I purchased the Always Fully Booked planner created by Little Inkling Designs. And for 2023, I have also purchased the Always Fully Booked planner. So this planner has had some updates for the new year and I'm super excited to start using it. It is created for bookworms. It has a sticker page in the front, a place for you to write your name. It has a full calendar, and then it has all of these spreads at the beginning that are specifically created for readers. You can come up with your own star rating system, and I will link to Megan from Little Inkling Designs proper flip through of the planner, because she has like a whole video about them, and I believe they're sold out for this year. But if you're interested in buying the 2024 one, I do really recommend it. You'll also notice it is set up like a regular planner. So for every month, for example January, it will have a calendar and a TBR and new releases spread, along with a weekly spread. So in the weekly spread, I've chosen to go with the vertical layout, and for this planner I'm actually going to be recording my reading, my writing and my French learning. So the bottom row will be for reading because it has amount read at the bottom there. So I will be recording when I start and finish books in here, and I'll use the monthly planner to plan out my bookish social media, blog posts, which I'm trying to get back to this year, Instagram, etc., and maybe some book club reads as well. Another thing that this planner has is a lot of room for recording statistics. I believe for this one she's moved it to the front of the planner. But it has a spread like this where you can create your own pie charts and a little bar graph recording the pages that you've read every month throughout the year. So it has all of these amazing spreads, but in 2022 I was super duper busy and could not keep track of this on paper, and I didn't have a place to keep track of it digitally either. So for 2023, I decided to create my own spreadsheet to keep track of all of these things, so that this year I will actually be able to fill in these graphs without having to kind of fudge it or go back and calculate everything like I'm having to do this year. So yeah, I will show you that spreadsheet in a minute, but I just wanted to give you another look at this absolutely stunning planner, and I can't wait to set it up for this year. So this is going to be the main physical way that I'm going to be keeping track of my reading. I might make notes in my bullet journal as well, but for the most part this is the planner where I will record everything to do with reading. I also made a video about the planners that I will be using next year, and I will link that up above and down below if you wanted to see which other planners I will be using for other areas of my life. And now let's get into the digital ways that I will be tracking my reading. Hi, so I use three main digital ways to keep track of my reading. Two are a bit old and one is very, very new. I made it a couple of weeks ago. The first way that I keep track of my reading is through my trusty Goodreads. I like using Goodreads to keep track of my currently reading progress. It is so easy to use the app on my phone. Just go in and update how much I've read on a specific day, And I also really like having the Goodreads reading challenge to keep me motivated throughout the year. I'm really excited to see what color the reading challenge is next year as well. And I also like using Goodreads to keep my TBR organized. It's set up nicely so that I don't accidentally have duplicates or anything like that. And yeah, that is the main quick way that I keep track of my reading digitally. The second way I keep track of my reading digitally is through Notion. This is my library. I do think I originally copied this as a template from somebody else, but I have since made a lot of changes to it and made it my own. So this is my main library page, and then it will show my books read and my TBR. The main reason I wanted to use Notion was so that I could do a little bit more with it than what Goodreads allows. So this is the main area that I actually like using. This is my series and authors tracker. So I like seeing at a glance how much of an author's works I've read. So according to this, I've read 66.7% of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books. And I have not read any of the Practical Magic series books. So I've created 2 extra databases and linked them with this one so that I can calculate how many books are in each series and how many books each author has written. And yeah, that's pretty much what I would like to keep track of, and Goodreads doesn't allow for that. I also haven't seen any other app really allow for that feature either, so I made my own. I am also implementing things like tags, like for book clubs and things like that, and then also going to show the percentage of that one. But this is still a work in progress. I'm not happy with what this is looking like yet at all, but it's there and I am slowly fixing it up and using it. Then the final way that I'm keeping track of my books digitally is through my 2023 reading tracker spreadsheet. So I created this spreadsheet on my own. I'm very, very proud of how it turned out. And I mainly created it as an accompaniment to my Always Fully Booked planner. So at the bottom, I have all of the months, and they are color coordinated to match the planner, just to make it easy. So every month has a point 1 and a point 2 page. On the point 1 page, so 1 is January, so 1.1 is the January reading tracker. Over here, I can keep track of my current page that I am on every book that I'm reading. So for example, if I'm reading Nevermore, and let's say that I was on page 50 at the end of last month, I write that in there and it will populate the rest of the column with that same amount. So now all I have to do is go in on the days where I change how much I've read. So if I read up to page 100 on the 2nd of January, I just change that to 100, and then it will say that I have read 50 pages that day. Same thing if I have another book like Twilight. Maybe I only start reading this one on the 3rd of January, so I read up to page 10 on that day, and then it will update my total pages read for that day. So now, at the end of every day, in my Always Fully Booked planner, at the end of those weekly pages I showed you guys, at the bottom, I can just go in and add in my total pages read. I can also change the genre, so Nevermore's fantasy, and let's say Twilight is romance. I'm reading an ebook and a physical book. Once I have finished the book, I can give it a rating. After I've done that for all of my books at the end of the month, I can go to my point 2 page, and this will give me a bunch of stats and graphs. So this will show me how many pages I've read every single day in a graph form. So this will be nice if I want to redraw this in my planner, or if I even just want to print out this graph, it looks nice enough to stick into my planner. It will also give me some stats. It will tell me how many pages I read in total, how much I read on my best day, how much I read on my worst day. So in this case, I have quite a lot of 0 reading days, so it's saying 0. And then it will also calculate a daily average across the whole month. And because I only started with like 2 days, it's going to say I read an average of 2 pages across the month. It will also tell me how many books I have read from. But if I go back and tick this finished box, it will say how many I have finished. So say you read out of like 10 books, but you only finish 2, it will tell you that here. I really wanted stats like this because I do read a lot of books, and sometimes when you read a lot of books and you don't finish all of them, it can look like you're not reading a lot when you actually are. You're just making progress in a different way, if that makes sense. Then when I scroll down, it will also give me a little pie chart for my star ratings, for my book format, and for my book genres read. So I do kind of want to only put in these stats after I finish a book. That way it will be obviously more accurate. When you have finished a book, it will add it onto your little bookshelf here at the front. So this bookshelf has room for 8 books, and the books pop up here when you click the little finished tick box. So if I go back to this one and I untick Twilight because maybe I didn't finish that one yet, and I go back here, it will have disappeared. And now I can go and add in some color if I want, or I can print it out and color it in by hand if I feel like doing that. But this was really fun, a little bit of extra. It was unnecessary, but I just wanted to see if I could make a digital bookshelf pretty much. Another thing that I've added in here is a calculator. So this will allow you to calculate the percentage of a book read. So if you want to track your percentage on Goodreads, for example, or if you want to go backwards from ebook percentage to page count, you can use this to calculate it for you. And this is one for audiobook to page count. And I took these formulas again from the Always Fully Booked planner just to stay consistent for myself. And I didn't really use the formulas when they were in the book. So this way, when it's created in the spreadsheet, I can use it a lot easier and I can really see it coming in handy, especially for the audiobook to page count and the ebook percentage to page count. Because I do read quite a lot of ebooks and I read the occasional audiobook, and I would like to actually see those books reflected in my daily pages read statistics. And then the last thing that this has is my yearly statistics as well. So this will show at the end of the year how many pages that you've read, and also show here how many books you've read. There's also a little monthly books read chart that I've added in. This one is a little extra one for the yearly stats, and the other ones are pretty much the same, but the formulas are taken from all of the months, as you can see. So this will show you a total yearly overview of all of your star ratings. Same thing for book format and book genre. It looks pretty simple, but it does quite a lot, which is why I have decided to open up a little digital shop and sell this spreadsheet to anyone else who would also like to make use of it. It's got all of the 12 months and it has the same daily tracking and monthly statistics page for every month of the year. So you can technically reuse this tracker every single year if you so wish. Obviously, I've only done a bit of testing with it. I haven't used it through a full month yet, just because I made it in the last week of 2022. if I do come across any bugs or anything like that, I will update the template for you guys. That's pretty much how I'm keeping track of my reading next year. If you want to join me in using this spreadsheet, I'll leave the link down below where you can purchase it. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Keep thinking, Inklings.